Hey, what's up, Stringlings? Today we're going to be taking a look at an insane video by an amazing metal band from India called Bloodywood. The song is called Dana Dan, and we're going to check it out. Folk metal in pretty well every genre. It's a big deal. I love it. I play it. I listen to it constantly. And we're often introduced to a lot of European influences. Viking metal is kind of a thing, right? It's kind of a big deal. And I'm thinking of bands like Skald and groups like that, which are amazing. We often hear this combination of Celtic metal as well, using boran and the uilleann pipes and things like that melded into it. To a lesser extent, music from the Balkans. We are going to check some of that out too, because some of it is pretty wild. But this group has been making a lot of noise online recently. They were introduced to me through my Bandcamp feed, and I'm obsessed. I'm absolutely obsessed with this act. Let's just go straight into it. There is a trigger warning on this video because it does mention sexual assault, so I'm just going to let you know that. I am going to turn on the subtitles in English just so we can follow along. So let's get into it. Coming over to the desk again and play. Perfect build up. I love the traditional drums right off the bat. Already it feels heavy, even though they haven't gotten into any distortion. But then we get into these low-tuned guitars swelling in on top of them, and I am waiting for this drop, and you know it's going to be epic. Dial it back a couple of reels here. Now, I have a small amount of background having worked on a cultural project related to India some years ago. And I believe that we're looking at Kali in this dance. If I'm wrong, by all means, correct me. I'm not by any stretch an expert, but I believe that's who we're looking at dancing here. And big props to these guys. We've got traditional instruments built right into the band, and all of the dancers are credited, so please check out this video.
I put a fist to the face of a rapist, and yeah, I take this for the viewing pleasure of the nameless faces he disgraces. And yeah, one day I may change his kind with my mind, but I won't bow to the beast, never make peace at feast. Don't even gonna let it eat to the white beat, but I gotta beat another beat. I'm gonna get the home in the seat, dead beat, delete, going off like a time bomb. White heat, chuck about like a python, bonafide on my side, then we're gonna ride on up into your mind, and then we're gonna
Okay, so if you didn't follow, that's why I put the subtitles on. Please, I mean, note, this song it's a retaliation against the culture of sexual assault, against the culture of sexual violence. And it's brutal. You don't hear a lot of rap in metal so much these days anymore in the West, but this is exceptionally well done. We are going to go, I'm 90% sure this is Hindi, and I can't vouch for the subtitles that YouTube is giving us, but they have gone the extra step to translate everything for us. Let's go back and hear that rap verse one more time. I'm not going to slow it down. I just want to see if you can keep up with the reading. My speed reading is slower than it used to be.
I put a fist to the face of a rapist, and yeah, I take this for the viewing pleasure of the nameless faces he disgraces. And yeah, one day I may change his kind with my mind, but I won't bow to the beast, never make peace at feast. Don't even gonna let it eat to the white beat, but I gotta beat another beat. I'm gonna get the home in the seat, dead beat, delete, going off like a time bomb. White heat, chuck about like a python, bonafide on my side, then we're gonna ride on up into your mind, and then we're gonna take it to the beat, take it to the hands up, begin to shop, take it about take it down, 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 take it down.
Got that? Okay, cool. So it is a call to violence. They do just in the description they get into it a little bit more about how the tone changes, but how it's a culture of violence that demands violence. I don't personally know that that's true, but they're they're making a deep cultural statement that we're still trying to adjust to as well in the West. So kudos to them for bringing this all out. The mood is going to change, not the music. Thank goodness. The music is going to stay where it is, but it is extremely aggressive. Let's go just take a pause for a second from the lyrics. But the music is amazing. I mean, it is so heavy. It is so hard. There's nothing I don't like about this. And yeah, rapping in any language other than English is just a mystery to me. But it just sounds phenomenal. Now tell me that's not a perfect breakdown for a show. You can picture 50,000 screaming fans chanting that at the same time. It sounds amazing. This is so awesome. I mean, like, my heart is going a million miles a minute. I'm choking up just from the intensity of this. It's so good. And these dancers, by the way, phenomenal. This is so cool, you guys. Like, this is amazing. And did you hear that the wind instrument in there? It's reminiscent of what you might get in nu metal using a synth, as part of the breakdown. But it's being done with traditional Indian instruments. It's so good. This is so cool.
Get with it again, God got you in my sights, motherfucker, it's a headshot. You up on the spot and you start to run, yeah. No man, yes all man, need all man, who always all man can't be when it's been away. But when you see for yourself to get involved, they're talking all in, do more points of war. Kids on today, we leave it raw. Bloody galores, we clean up the core, we do it for her. It's anarchy up in the patriarchy and we love it. We done asking nasty, so now we're here thugging it. No man and no woman, it's the people that are running. Listen for that engine, cause now we gon' be gunning.
Right, so that's the call to a more intellectual, philosophical approach to the problem of sexual violence, and I think it's a really interesting turn. We start with anger, and then we modify our approach and say, you know what, we need to get to the core of the issue. Why is this ever been acceptable, and how can we change it? This is practically an anthem, but I'm just blown away, not just by the message, but the music and the whole presentation. And it's intense, man. Like, do not watch this with a migraine, because it's gonna hurt. But man, the music is just great. Before we get into this part two, I do want to just point out, I love the setup. It's like a look at the difference between the two sets, right? There's just with the band. We're not looking at the dancers right now. With the band, we've got a fully white backdrop, and then we've got this just mental chaos of the black backdrop with the stage lights, but it's all band. There's no weird plot. There's no sometimes you get in metal videos, right? There's nothing with a band doing this pose in graveyards, right? Which is just like metal all day. So even just structure wise, it's got what we would call in film, it's almost like a chiaroscuro effect, right? Dark and or like shadow and light, doing that flip flop between these two singers or vocalists, and they're hammering everything. It's significant that we're looking at again, my interpretation. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but the presence of Kali, who is not just, we in the West we often think, oh, Kali is the goddess of death, but she's also a symbol of female strength, like that raw savage rage that women can sometimes put out there, and she's kind of the embodiment of the extreme of that, and I think that's significant here. Obviously, this is why you would want to include her in this particular video, but just the visual is stunning. The dancers are amazing. Again, nothing I dislike about this at all. It's just, it's heavy and it's hard and it's perfect. So this vocal is something you might expect in a guitar solo. It has that, we call them exotic modes, right? So it has that sort of exotic mode feel to it that just is what metal is. And there's so much effective interplay between metal and Indian music in general. And this is not one of their more Bollywood inspired selections, but I love the fact that we're getting these Indian folk elements fused into incredibly heavy guitar and drum stuff. It's genius. It's absolute flawless genius. There's the synth again.
Yeah, now if you're straight, time to turn back and run with the pack. It's time to fight, yeah, we got the ammo to stack. Fuck every man for himself, it's every man for every man and everybody else, everybody else. I raise a fist for the nameless faces. He disgraces, raise a fist for the nameless faces. He disgraces, and yeah, one day I may change his kind with my mind. One day I may change his kind with my mind. Raise a fist for the nameless faces. He disgraces, raise a fist for the nameless faces. He disgraces, and yeah, one day I may change his kind with my mind. One day I may change his kind, but until then,
Well, so that was Danadan, effectively translated as "Bring the Beat Down," which I'm just gonna say this one more time. It's technically flawless. The structure and composition, absolutely perfect. The content, the music, the dancing, the visuals, everything brilliant. This is out on all platforms right now, and I 100% recommend that you head over to wherever you can get it. My personal preference is go to Bandcamp. I put the links to the original video, as well as their Spotify. But I put also the link to Bandcamp. Please go to Bandcamp and buy it directly from the artist. It really is the best way that you can show your support. And yeah, please let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And in the meantime, as always, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see more content like this, or if you'd like to perhaps contribute some suggestions to future reactions, please consider joining as a member of my channel. There are a few perks, and the link is right below this video. You know, I'd really appreciate it. It will help this kind of content roll out more frequently, and I'll see you guys later.